Coming up on TekThing, big honking batteries from Anker, moving old apps onto new PCs, ThermoPeanut's amazing headphones, and secrets of San Francisco. It's all coming up on TekThing. Thank you, patrons. Without your support via patreon.com/TekThing, we wouldn't be able to make the show for you each and every week. Join the crew that makes TekThing possible at patreon.com/TekThing and download our latest Ryzen 7 build video. Do it today.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And I'm Patty Norton.
And this is TekThing, where we have something useful in every single show.
At least on, well, you know what? Every single show. Period.
Every single show. That's right.
Oh my goodness. Actually, a whole bunch of good stuff coming up. We're going to talk about getting old apps on the new machines. You have Anker's new...
Oh my gosh, these things are bricks.
We've found bigger batteries than the 15,000 milliamp hour battery I usually carry. But first, let's take a moment to talk about what's coming up from our friends. Actually, what launched on Tuesday this week.
So AMD released the Ryzen 5 CPUs on Tuesday morning this week, the 1400 and the 1500X. They both offer 4 cores and 8 threads, starting at $169, while the 220 Ryzen 5 1600 and the $250 Ryzen 5 1600X deliver 6 cores and 12 threads. Big case there. And they can all be overclocked with an affordable B350 motherboard. So pro tip, hint, if you are using or doing a lot of multi-threaded work, you are seriously wanting to consider the AMDs for your next CPU. Yeah. A big deal here. We even did a build video with an AMD Ryzen, and so nice.
Yes. Oh my goodness. So if you're a 1080p gamer where the CPU limits performance, not the GPU, especially games that don't do much in the way of multi-core or multi-threaded processing, say you're a serious esports kind of person, the $240 Core i5 7600K probably gets the nod for affordable, or the 7700K if you're spending a bit more money. But frankly, a lot of the gaming benchmarks I've looked at have the $250 R5 1600X neck and neck with the $240 Core i5 7600K.
Okay.
And here's the thing, right? When you do stuff that eats all the cores you can throw at it, the Ryzen pulls way ahead of the Intel part at the same price. So overclocking, HardOCP is some great benchmarking, looking at the Ryzen 5 running at 4 gigahertz, the Ryzen 7 running at 4 gigahertz, and then the Core i5 7600K and 7700K. Now you notice, the single-threaded performance, Intel's still ahead, but when you go to multi-threaded performance, things change.
Dude, the Ryzen 7 takes off.
Yes, it does.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is running the Core i5 and the Core i7 at 5 gigahertz. So these are nice overclocks. Multi-threaded parts are doing multi-threaded benchmarks. Ryzen's doing really well.
Nice.
So something to think about.
Ooh, the Handbrake Blu-ray rip to high quality. I'm interested in that.
Yes.
I need to rip my Blu-rays.
I spend a lot of quality time with Handbrake. So if you're gaming at higher resolutions, if you're looking forward to running more apps, or if you're streaming, to Twitch while you're gaming, if you want to do more things that use more threads, that $220 Ryzen 5 1600, especially overclocked, looks really sweet. And we're going to have links to roundups from PCPer and HardOCP in the show notes.
Yay!
It's a good time to be building a desktop.
Yeah, it makes me want to rebuild my desktop. I have no reason to. It works fine. But I'm like, oh, this is so much better.
Well, and yeah, that's something to think about. If you're 1080p gaming and you don't plan on changing to a new monitor and you're happy with your gaming performance, I would sit on things for a while.
Yeah. That's where I am right now.
Because depending on how old your system is, you may have to update not just the processor, the motherboard, and the memory.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
And the GPU. And then things get kind of expensive. Giant batteries.
Giant batteries, yes. If I put this in my purse and somebody attacked me, I could throw my purse at them and they would probably pass out into a coma or something. Not saying that's a good idea.
Depends on where you hit them on their head.
Like, they're heavy.
Well, okay.
They're pretty hardcore. So my goal on this was I'm going to Australia in May. I definitely want to play like my Nintendo Switch the entire flight down there because I can't sleep on flights. I can't sleep whatsoever. I need something to do. And if my Switch dies halfway through the flight, I'm just going to be so bored out of my mind. So
you'll be sitting there banging the seat in front of you with your foot.
Give me something to do. Yeah, so I wanted to find a battery that would be able to charge the thing for the entire flight, and it's going to be like 15 to 17 hours or something like that, depending on layovers.
So there's the Anker PowerCore Turbo, which is 16,000 milliamp hours, and the PowerCore II, which is 20,000 milliamp hours.
Okay, so let's start with the Anker PowerCore II 20,000. So this is what it looks like up close and personal. It's 20,000 milliamp hour power bank, and it has 3 PowerIQ outputs over here on the side. All of those are 6 amp outputs, which is 30 watts combined power. And then you have dual input 4 amp recharging inputs, which are 5 volts 4 amps, 5 volt 2 amp max per port, and then the outputs over here, those 3 right there, they're going to be 5 volts 6 amps or 5 volt 3 amp max per port. Of course, if you use all 3 together at the same time, you're not going to get that max.
You get 2 amps per port.
You're going to get 2 amps per port, exactly.
You got 6 amps total, and you can get like 4 and 2, or 2 and 2 and 2, or 2 and 2 and 1, or 4 and 2 and 1, and I'm going to stop this right now, sorry.
Yay, math! Yay, division! Woo, fun! I hate math. So over here on Amazon, you'll see, oh, this is weird. I've never seen this pop up before. Have you?
No.
It says, Amazon. I have Amazon Prime. You've saved more than $250 on 2-day shipping and more than 40 trips to the store.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
I like that it's assuming I would actually go to the store or buy the thing if it wasn't on Amazon.
Yeah. If it wasn't on Amazon, I'd probably just be like, oh, never mind. Okay, so it's $43.99, so a little bit less than 50 bucks. Of course, it says it's on sale. I've never seen it as high as $90, I believe that says. So let's just assume that it sticks around $43.99. So that's a pretty good price for a 20,000 milliamp hour battery.
That's an amazing price for a 20,000 milliamp hour battery.
Yeah, it's amazing. But the question is, how good is it? Well, luckily this one does come with PowerIQ by Anker. However, it does not support Qualcomm Quick Charge. That's pretty often the case with all Anker's batteries. So I wouldn't expect it to have Qualcomm Quick Charge. If you're wondering what the differences are between those, luckily Anker has a nice little write out about what PowerIQ is, and I'll put this link in the show notes so you can read it. But basically, this is a standard that Anker developed that allows the battery to detect what kind of device you're trying to charge, and then it gives it the fastest charge possible instead of giving the same charge to each output no matter what the device is. So for example, if I plug in an iPad into one port and then a smaller smartphone into the other, the iPad is obviously going to get more power in a faster charge than the smartphone would. If it does have the ability to charge both of those at the max that they are allowed, so the iPad and the smartphone, then it'll give both of them the max. But it's going to give the iPad a faster charge because it requires more.
Right, it can draw, if your device can draw 4 amps, it'll give it 4 amps. If you try to plug 2 4 amp devices into it, it'll give the maximum amperage it can give to both devices.
Yay, exactly. Yay. And then you have Qualcomm Quick Charge, which is basically made for Qualcomm chipsets, so the SoC in there. So if you don't have Qualcomm Quick Charge, but you do have an Anker PowerIQ battery, you will still get a faster charge than you normally would with just a regular USB charger, because Anker is going to detect how much amperage and how much voltage those things require. So with this Anker battery, with my testing, a full recharge of this took about 6 hours with 2 inputs.
So it's pretty typical.
Yeah, it's very typical. It has 2 micro USB ports right here, and it does come with 2 micro USB to USB cables. So if you use both of these at the same time with a 4 amp input charger, you'll get 6 hours to that full charge.
But if you only have one 4 amp input charger, it will take significantly longer.
I don't know, 9 hours or something like that. Yeah, I used both of them, so I was happy with that.
That's the downside of a huge battery. If you actually manage to drain it, it's going to take a long time to recharge it.
It's going to take forever. So charge it as often as you can.
How many times did you recharge your Pixel XL?
Okay, so this was crazy. On the website, they actually tout that they can charge iPhones like 12 times or something like that. It's really high amount. I was not expecting that with my Pixel XL because the Pixel takes, I believe it's a 3250 milliamp hour battery in here as opposed to the iPhone, which is a bit smaller than that. But 6 times. I was able to charge it a little bit less than 6 times total with 100% charge on this guy.
Okay.
That's a lot. That's almost a week's worth, as long as I'm not playing Pokemon Go every single day. But if I use this with the Nintendo Switch as well, I was able to charge that about 4 times. After playing the Switch for about 5 hours, I finally broke 25% battery loss on the Anker PowerCore. So I got it down to 75% left. And it does charge while you're playing. It fully charges in a little less than 3 hours. So I could potentially get more than 4 charges out of the Switch.
The Switch
out of this thing.
keeps playing while you charge it.
Yes, exactly. So as long as I had this plugged in, my Switch was at 100% power until this thing would die, and then eventually the Switch would die, obviously. I did mention that it's pretty heavy, though. It is 13.5 ounces, so that's just a little bit less than a pound. So it is quite heavy. Keep that in mind.
I think this may weigh almost exactly, it's probably a little bit heavier than the 12,000 milliamp hour battery from Anker I've been carrying for the last 2 years. And this costs about a third less.
Wow.
So
that's awesome. Something to keep in mind. And then, of course, also keep in mind, you can't necessarily charge it while charging other devices.
That's
so there's no pass-through. Yeah, very typical. There's no USB-C ports on here, just the 3 USB. But luckily, they are 3.0. And when I was testing this with my lovely little detector here, if I plug this in and then plug it into my phone, which is USB-C, and I'm using an Anker cable for this too.
So basically a USB charge monitor or USB power monitor.
So I'm getting about 5.10 volts or so. It's going up and down just a little bit. So 5.10, 5.15 volts, and then 1.4 amps just about for the total power that it's allowing my smartphone. So that's pretty good, and that's on par with what they are claiming to get. So that is the Anker PowerCore. I really liked it, and I'm totally going to bring this with me to Australia as long as Anker doesn't want it back. Thank you again, Anker, for letting us review
$44
these.
you can buy it. I mean,
I
it's
can
not
buy
like,
it.
I mean, it's not.
Okay.
I think about what my first like 19,000 milliamp hour battery, and was like twice the size of that, was an Energizer.
Last time I bought a huge battery like that, it was like $100. It's insanely expensive, but yeah, they've gone down in price quite a bit. I can afford it. So the other one I wanted to check out is called the Anker PowerCore Turbo Portable Charger. This one is a little bit different. So if you look at the website, this one comes with a car charger. So in my case, I think it would be really great for road trips. Now, one thing to keep in mind though with this is it's also more expensive. It's $79.99. So
well, it comes with a car charger.
Comes with a car charger. Very cool. And it does have a nice little proprietary port on it as well. So you can plug in your car charger right here. I have the one that they sent me over here that I was testing in my car. And when you plug it in, you do get a rather fast charge. So it does have 2 inputs on it as well, right here, or 2 outputs, I should say. And there is the one micro USB charger right there as well. So if you don't have the car charger on you, you can also use micro USB. So the micro USB charges at the standard rate, which is basically overnight. For me, it would take about 6 to 7 hours for this to charge, so a little bit slow. And then the car charger charges, they tout 85% faster.
Whoa.
And when I was testing this, it was indeed very, very fast. So I really enjoyed using it in the car. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I could drive down to LA and have it charging the whole time. Except it wouldn't take the whole time because it charges faster. It's really cool. So with the Nintendo Switch test, I hit 25% loss, so 75% after 3 hours and 47 minutes, and it charges the Pixel XL about 4 times total. In the car though, if you're charging off of there, it does offer that high voltage fast charging, and it does get hot, so keep that in mind if you have like your car out in a hot environment already. This thing is going to get very, very hot when it's charging in your car. So the 2 outputs on here are 4.8 amps and 2.4 amps each, and then the USB input total is 5 volts and 2 amps. The DC input is 8.7 volts and 14 amps.
So the car charger's blowing 14 amps into it.
Yeah.
Max.
Yeah, so it's...
That would explain the faster charging.
Yeah, it's really fast. They claim that it can recharge the battery enough in 8 minutes to fully charge an iPhone. So if you have this dead, you plug it into the car charger,
wait
do 8 minutes, and then charge your iPhone. You should be golden right there, a full charge on your iPhone. So that's pretty cool. The output is 5 volts and 4.8 amps total. And when I tested this again with the little power tester here, I got just about what they said. So on here right now, I'm getting a little bit over that. I'm getting 5 volts, 5.05, 5.08, so around that area, and then 1.46 down to 1.0 amps.
Yeah,
So
and that's probably governed by the phone's charging circuitry.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and the cable might have something to do with that too. Hopefully not, because it's an Anker cable. So a quick Qualcomm quick charge again is not supported. There's no USB-C, and there's just the 2 USB 2.0 outputs, not the USB 3.0 like this one has. And then this one is also very heavy. It's almost the same weight as this one. This one's 13.6 ounces as opposed to 13.5. So keep that in mind too. So I would say that my verdict after checking out both of these, I would say the Anker PowerCore II 20,000 milliamp. This one would be great if you're going on like an airliner or if you're traveling around a city or something. You're not necessarily going to be in a car for a long time. And then with the other one, the Anker PowerCore Turbo, if you're going to take a road trip, this one's awesome, especially because it charges so quick, so you don't have to like stick it in your car and wait for hours.
85% faster.
85% faster.
From
yeah.
that 12-volt charger.
Both of them are really great. I love Anker's batteries. I've never had one fail on me or anything like that, so it's my main pick for things like you know, batteries and USB cables and stuff like that.
I have 4 of their batteries.
You have 4, wow.
2 of their car charger adapters.
Nice.
And 1 of their 65-watt, like, you know, I'm going to charge the entire family's devices simultaneously on the AC. And
oh yeah.
I had 1 battery fail out of the box, but that I had purchased, but it was replaced in like
oh yeah, their customer service
hours.
is awesome too.
Yeah.
Really like their customer service. So yeah, I think I have 1 main Anker that I use, and then I've been testing these out. So thank you to Anker for letting us test these for you guys. Really appreciate it, and let me know what you guys think of really big batteries, because I definitely need to find like the perfect one for my Australia trip. So I'm looking. I need to find a good one.
The one my wife carries will charge your phone once,
yeah,
and it, you know, is tiny. It looks like a, you know, like a little tiny
oh yeah,
pocket
little
flashlight.
like credit card ones.
But yeah, she won't carry a 1-pound battery because
I will.
Let
me know what you guys think. You can tweet me, I'm at Snubs or at TekThing, and you can also email us, ask@tektthing.com.
Something that caught my eye back at CES was Sense and their line of Peanut smart sensors. I'm holding in my hand right here the ThermoPeanut smart wireless thermometer, particularly caught my eyes. If you look at the website, Sen.se, they do these really simple smart sensors, the ThermoPeanut, the Sleep Peanut, the Guard Peanut. Yeah, they sell for like $29, maybe a little bit less on Amazon. For me, the ThermoPeanut, like, I got 2 boys that eat all the things, and we have 2 freezers in the basement. And,
wow.
It's very Midwestern.
That's totally Midwestern.
Because we freeze all the things. It's so
I
much
definitely had an extra freezer in our house when I was growing up.
Canning peaches is fun, but freezing peaches is so fast. But you know, I've been kind of looking for something that'll let us know if one of the freezers goes down, because we don't want to lose all the food.
Yeah.
So it's really simple. It uses the Sense Peanut app, but take a look inside of it. You'll see there's a case, a small printed circuit board, the sensor, and then a button for the switch, and a big old, well, not that big, but a CR2032 battery, a little button battery that powers it. It uses the Sense Peanut app. It tracks your current temperature. You hit the button, it'll launch the current temperature. It'll also give you the history of the temperature. Something to think about, this is not an instant response thermometer, right?
Oh, okay.
Well, at the factory, the measurement frequency is set to 15 minutes. You can choose 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. The more frequently you check the temperature, the shorter the battery life.
I see.
And you know, one of the things that, if I'm understanding this correctly, so it checks the temperature every 15 minutes. So for the next 15 minutes, you're going to get the last temperature it checked. So, you know, if you're like, I want to know the temperature every minute, you're going to be blowing through a lot of batteries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The Sense claims it'll work up to 100 feet or 30 meters. I was delighted that I could get temperature notifications from inside the refrigerator when I was, you know, so the
closed refrigerator.
Closed freezer or refrigerator. So we've got the refrigerator, a couple layers of sheetrock, another 20 feet, and then me, and I could still detect the temperature on this. So I was impressed.
That's surprisingly good.
Go Bluetooth Low Energy. You can set notifications for a high or low temperature for when they're breached, when it goes above or below the temperature.
Oh, that's useful.
Set. I thought these didn't work until I digged into the advanced settings and realized the notification interval is set from 2 hours from the factory. So 2 hours after the, you know, so
oops.
So you know, depending on how often you check the temperature. So first the temperature changes, then it checks the temperature, and then depending on how long it is, then you get the notification, right? So they work though. I got a notification really, really quickly when I set it down to like a 0 duration. Okay. But again, the more the Peanut sends notifications, the faster that CR2032 battery is going to run down.
Yeah.
They've got it set up so it works with Nest. It's compatible with if, then that. If you want to set up recipes, you can use a Peanut with multiple devices via the Sense app. So basically, anybody that wants to log into it is going to be able to log into it.
Oh, cool.
There's a sound alert that's normally turned off. And you can actually add a temperature offset if you know the freezer is at 0 degrees and the Sense Peanut senses at a degree or 2 degrees. You can do that. You can use the offset to make the ThermoPeanut more accurate. Like I mentioned, CR2032 batteries. They're saying with a life up to 3 months, and the life is going to go down the more you update the temperature or check the temperature. So remember, you know, you were really cranking on this because you get 4 Energizer 2032 batteries from Amazon versus like, you know, I think I paid
$8 at CVS for 2.
Yeah, I think I paid $3 each or $6 for 2 of them last week. So
I wasted so much money at CVS. Man.
Well, but remember, right? This is $29 or 4 for $99 plus 4 CR2032 batteries a year minimum.
Right,
so that's going to add up. And of course, if the battery dies, you can't actually get the temperature information, so be aware of that. Sen.se, bestbuy.com has those deals. And as always, we love your questions. Email ask@TekThing.com, or you can tweet me at Patrick Norton. Got a question for TekThing? Are you curious to see us review something on the show, or if you got a tip or an idea, please fire them out to ask@TekThing.com or tweet at TekThing, at Snubs, or at Patrick Norton. And hey, if you want to be part of the crew that makes TekThing possible, please contribute to the show at patreon.com/TekThing. Just $1 will make a difference. That's like $4 most months, and you'll get access to our patron-only build videos and quite a bit more. Thank you for your patronage. You make the show possible. Don't forget the Ryzen 7 build videos up there right now. Patreon.com/TekThing. And if you can't donate, we totally understand. Send in those emails, and if you could spare a moment or two to give our video the thumbs up on YouTube, like our Facebook page, or you know, review TekThing on an iTunes or your favorite podcatcher, we would really appreciate it. It all helps. Share it with your friends. Thank you so much for supporting TekThing, no matter how you do it. So this weekend, I was down for CanJam Los Angeles 2017. It's HeadFi CanJam, the headphone festival of audio joy.
Oh, I bet you were overjoyed to be there.
I always like to listen to good music through fantastic headphones.
I knew it.
Listen to a lot of stuff. I'm just going to pick some highlights right now. One of the coolest things, Ultimate Ears did a 3D scan. So traditionally, when you get custom in-ear monitors made, right, you get goop poured into your head, and you wait there until the goop. This is my getting poured goop into my head face. And you sit there until the goop dries out.
Ew.
Maybe you don't sit like this anymore, but nonetheless.
This sounds horrible.
They actually came up with a 3D scanning technology, and now they print their custom in-ear monitors with a 3D printer. So they can do like 20 pair of those a night. And if you're a touring musician and you need more, you know, earplugs or earbuds, you know, because they use them, you know, on tour, you know, to basically protect their hearing and hear the monitors.
Yeah, of course.
Or if you just like, I want a new pair of earbuds, they can now turn them around in 7 days when it used to take like 4 weeks.
That is so cool.
I like having. No, I don't know.
Yay, technology.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting process, and the inside of my ears is one of the most disgusting places I've ever seen. Mr. Speakers Aeon. I don't know how a small crew in San Diego can deliver a quality that's higher than most massive multinational headphone manufacturers. I'd say I don't care, but I do. But let's talk about the Aeon planar magnetic headphones right now.
Yes.
It's using the V-planar and TrueFlow technology. It was developed for the Mr. Speakers flagship Ether C and Flow closed-back headphones. But Aeon sells for $799 or $699 on pre-order. I get it. I heard that. Ooh, yeah. I heard that. I get it. So the Ether
That's
C
the price point right there.
Flow, it is. But their kind of flagship headphones sell for $1,500 to $1,800. I get that $699 sounds outrageous to a lot of people out there. But $699 for most of the sound quality of a $1,500 or $1,800 headphone is a big deal.
Yeah.
And if you're chasing, it's a beautiful full sound. It's a huge sound stage and like perfect percussion. These are extraordinary for the money. Or as I wrote in my notes, delete expletive, these are good. Well, there's just stuff where there's like a kick drum that opens up a Clutch song.
Yeah.
And it's a big, loose, fat kick drum. And what was interesting about this is just how controlled and perfect that was instead of getting sloppy and messy. And the sound staging is really, really amazing for headphones.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I'm listening to like, Amber Rubar's Novocaine and stuff feels like it's way out here.
Yeah.
They're really amazing for the money. I understand that most of you are not looking to spend $700, so let's talk about Shitsfulla.
Yay!
Shitsfulla 2, we've mentioned this, delivers a ton of DAC and headphone amplification and a volume knob. I love volume knobs for $99. It's US made in California.
Nice.
Like AudioQuest Dragonfly, it is a great next step if you're ready to move beyond the audio in your laptop or desktop. I really like the volume knob. And the original Fulla, if you want to spend less money, is selling out for $59 at SCHIIT.com. Oh,
cool.
and MrSpeakers.com is the place for the Aeons.
Oh, nice.
FongAudio.com. I'm going to spend some quality time with Fong Audio. Quote, audio software that replicates the experience of listening to high-end speakers using only headphones. It does a fantastic job of getting audio from your headphones to feel directional and outside of your head.
Okay.
Bunch of interesting digital signal processing that is done on your computer. They can custom create profiles for individuals, like they basically do measurements based on your ear to make their stuff sound more realistic to you, as in you, so Shannon, cool. And Shannon's ears.
Wow.
I'm going to do some like A/B testing on gaming audio with Fong Audio versus Dolby Headphone. And they've also recreated like tons of high-end speaker profiles with the idea that they're going to make your headphones sound like this incredibly rare and insanely expensive set of speakers.
Ooh.
I'm kind of more curious about the gaming stuff and using it for home theater. They have a 2-minute free demo, normally sells for $149, but you can often get it on sale for $75, and that's FongAudio.com.
Wow. Anything else?
Blue Wave Get. It's a portable 24-bit wireless headphone amp, $99 on pre-order, $129 after it ships. Bluetooth, aptX HD for the next generation of headphones. It's got a mic, the usual Bluetooth buttons, 69 hours of battery life, like a 96 dB noise floor, 0.004 total harmonic distortion, and it'll dump 125 milliwatts into 32 ohms, which is more than enough voltage for everything but the biggest giant planar magnetics. Yeah, it's a lot more expensive than the no-brand Bluetooth adapters on Amazon, but the sound quality is way better. Audio sounds really, it's impressed. And I also now want to take an old pair of like Sony MDR7506s and see if I can embed this in there somewhere so I can have wireless headphones for not much money.
That'd be cool.
BlueWaveAudio.ca, they are up in Montreal.
Cool.
Odyssey has a new open back Sine Deluxe on-ear planar magnetic headphone. Opens up the soundstage of the Sine nicely. They're going to have a special black version of the iSign 10 just for the Apple stores. And I got to record a conversation with Odyssey's Sankar Thiagassamudram talking about the evolution of their planar magnetics and just exactly how they made those tiny in-ear iSign headphones. And that's going to be up on avxl.com soon.
Yay!
One more thing before I go. RBH Sounds HP-2, going to do a review of these soon. 45mm drivers coated with beryllium using thermal physical vapor deposition.
What?
Well, you know what? We'll get into it later.
It sounds really cool, whatever it means.
Well, it's one of the best headphones in the world. The Focal Utopia uses beryllium, like pure beryllium. But that's incredibly expensive, incredibly complicated. Like those are $4,000 headphones. These sell for like $199. If you like super detailed bass, there's some interesting stuff going on here for the money. So, CanJam 2017. Good stuff, and if you have one in your area, try to go to one Head5's gatherings or a CanJam and listen to all the cool things. At Mike Fielden tweets, the fam is headed to San Fran area this summer looking for things to do. Any advice? Number one, as someone who is married to a woman who grew up in San Francisco,
I think I know where this is going to go.
Never call it San Fran.
Yep.
I did once.
Me too.
15 years ago at the beginning of our relationship. Haven't done it since.
Yeah, don't call it San Fran.
That out of the side, oh my goodness, we had a...
I don't know, the locals do not like San Fran. I called it the same thing when I visited, and they were just like, girl.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I'm sorry.
Bartenders will walk away from... We have lists.
Okay, we have plenty of ideas for you in your vacation. I hope it's super awesome, by the way, because this is an amazing area. It's expensive, but there's a lot to do. So first off, if you are into history and into learning about old buildings, check out Alcatraz. It's on an island. It's really, really cool to see Alcatraz, the old prison that's no longer in working condition. But they do tours, and one of my favorite is the night tour. So definitely check out that. We'll put the link in the show notes. Second off, Muir Woods. This is pretty much the closest you can get to redwoods in the San Francisco area. It's totally worth a visit. On the weekends though, you'll notice like with this picture, it gets packed. So get there super, 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 super early, or plan to walk a mile or two to actually get up to the park itself. It's on a mountainside, so it's really hard to get up there, but it's beautiful when you get there.
And if you're traveling in the summer, like San Francisco is booked at like 96% capacity for hotels almost year round.
Oh yeah.
But places like Muir Woods are completely unhinged during the summer.
Yep.
Try to go there if you're there during the week. Go on a weekday rather than a weekend.
Yeah.
And if you get into Muir Woods and you like to walk, just keep going all the way back, and you'll get to this crazy. There's a creek, and it's basically bridged with 2 giant redwoods.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's the closest I'll ever get to feeling like a hobbit. Like,
oh, that's so cute.
Well, because it's
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And also, if you do plan to visit Alcatraz, I always say Azkaban, but it's not. It's Alcatraz. Make sure to get your tickets like a month in advance because those sell out incredibly fast too.
Yeah.
The third one I wanted to mention is called the Exploratorium. This is in the San Francisco city, so very easy to get to. You can get to that from plenty of public transit options.
They moved it to a pier on the Embarcadero, which is the bay side, so it's no longer kind of hidden on the north side of the city.
It's got really nice views. It's basically a place where you can learn about all sorts of different sciencey things. So they have tons and tons of different examples set up in there. They have tons of exhibits.
It's an interactive science museum.
It's very interactive.
I've seen 25-year-olds in there. I've seen 4-year-olds in there. They all had an amazing time. And the mold display inside of the sawed-off red book in the back is amazing.
Yeah, it's very, very fun. They also do a night tour there as well for adults only, I believe. Yeah. And then lastly on my list is the California Academy of Sciences. This one is also in the San Francisco city. This one's really cool for like science cred. And they also have this really epic earthquake simulator, which honestly made me a little bit scared. I was like, wow, this is what it feels like to actually feel an earthquake inside your house. It made me a little emotional.
They put you in a room.
It was serious stuff, serious
business. They hydraulically shake a room full of people as if it was, I want to say the 1906 or the 89 quake. Or I guess maybe the 1906.
It was the early 1900s quake.
Yeah.
And it was really scary, and it kind of makes you emotional to think like people went through that in the early 1900s, and I would have been scared out of my wits if I actually experienced one of those in real life.
Well, plus most of San Francisco that fell down or burned down during that earthquake. It's an incredible. There's a giant glass ball that's like 60 feet high inside of the California Academy of Sciences that essentially allows you to go from the bottom level to the top level
that place is
of
gorgeous.
triple canopy jungle with insane butterflies flying around and birds and fish. It is one of the most extraordinary museums, and it's a magnificent architectural experience.
Yeah.
Because
the roof is really cool.
Yeah, they took like a 19th century museum and completely updated it. Yeah, go up to the roof.
Yeah, the roof is awesome. Great views, and you can get some awesome pictures up there too. Yeah. So on your list, you have a few things too.
Pretty much everything on Shannon's list. Plus, if you're there on a Saturday and you like food, go to the Saturday morning farmers market at Ferry Plaza. It's basically behind the Ferry building. And it's some of the most amazing, if for nothing else, go there to see the vegetables, but they have incredible food and displays. And if you're into food, and you're curious like what they talk about when they talk about the ingredients, there's just amazing food and bread and vegetables, and just go eat.
Yeah, go eat.
If you have smaller children, the Bay Area Discovery Museum is extraordinary. It's on the north side of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's kind of like just south of Sausalito. And they have a couple acres of stuff you can play on. Right, boats.
Cool.
Basically, they have like a little miniature tide pool.
There's tide pools?
They have a mock tide pool, so it's like having a...
That's so cool.
Mostly kids like it because...
Can I borrow your kids and go there?
Absolutely, we can make that happen.
That
the shipwreck
awesome.
gravel pit, there's climbing, like it's just an extraordinary place for kids to get hand-on, and then they also do exhibits at the same time. Speaking of tide pooling, if you can get to the coast at low tide, there's a couple areas, I'll put links in the show notes, where you can actually explore tide pools, which is just it's something you'll never do anywhere else in the same way outside of Northern California.
Yeah.
It is cold, it is windy, it is miserable, but walking the Golden Gate Bridge is intense.
Worth it.
Bring a fleece, preferably a windproof fleece, and you basically walk out on the bridge and walk back. You will either love it or hate it, but it's one of the craziest views of San Francisco you will ever see.
Yes.
The Ruby sailing they will take you out either on sunset cruises or lunch cruises, and they go out into the bay, and oftentimes I think underneath the San Francisco Bridge, or excuse me, the Golden Gate Bridge. I'm an Oakland A's kind of guy, but the Giants Park, excuse me, AT&T Park is one of the best places to watch baseball in the country.
It's really fun.
Yeah, it's a great place to see a baseball game. That's part of the reason I like baseball. The Musée Mécanique, quote, one of the world's largest privately owned collections of mechanically operated musical instruments and arcade machines. That's in Pier 45, Shed A.
Oh, wow.
It's the end of Taylor Street in Fisherman's Wharf. Fisherman's Wharf is the most touristy thing you can do in San Francisco.
It is.
But it's a great place to get some chowder and go into places like the Musée Mécanique. It's very close to the Exploratorium. Cool. Right next to Fisherman's Wharf is the San Francisco Maritime National Park. It is amazing. And then try to catch the exhibits that are across the street. It's basically out on a pier, and you get to see all this crazy stuff, including the Barracuda. And they have an extraordinary museum across the street that, amongst other things, has like the Fresnel lens from a giant lighthouse and talks about all of the different ways people have made a living on the water here in the Bay Area.
How fun. So that should get you started. But if anybody else has recommendations too, write them in or put them in the comments on YouTube so that he can check out all the different things you can do in the San Francisco Bay Area, because these are just a few of the many, many things. Yeah,
you could spend a long time here without getting bored.
So much time. We also got a message from Dylan from California who writes, "We just bought a new laptop for business and everyday email and web browsing. Is it possible to transfer select programs over to the new laptop? The program we use for business was discontinued by the manufacturer. It runs fine on Windows 10, but I am unsure if we still have the installation media, and the program we use for the business was discontinued by the manufacturer." Again, from Dylan.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
So, okay, Dylan, we always try to do a fresh install of our old programs whenever we can, because it's a wicked ripping pain in the posterior to transfer your applications to a new system from the old system.
Ninite is great if you guys haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah, for installing stuff that you can still download.
Yes.
Fortunately, Dylan, for you, it looks like ProServe 2, which is the management software you use, has the install files for the software buried in the support section of the website.
Perfect.
Following, of course, of reasons of a list of reasons why you should upgrade to ProServe 2012. You know, so in that case, he's lucky. He can find the application and should be able to install it. If you can no longer download the installation files for an application, one thing to try out is LapLink's PC Mover Home. That'll transfer apps, files, and settings. That's a paid application. It's going to cost you about $60. Z-Install WinWin is another option for transferring apps that has a good rep. It starts at $119, but they include a money-back guarantee. If they can't fix the technical problem that prevents you from migrating, they'll give you your money back.
Okay.
One thing to remember, not all older applications will run under a newer operating system.
That's true.
So sometimes you may spend $60 or $120 and get that ancient application pulled to your new machine and then find out it just won't run.
Yeah.
Which is traumatizing.
Man, I wish Goosebumps the video game would run on my Windows 10 PC.
I'll take obscure references.
It only runs on like Windows 2000 or something like that. Not even that.
95.
Windows 9. Yeah, Windows 95. It's so old.
Hate that.
All right, remember, once in a while, put down your phone, step away from your screen, close your laptop and do something analog. Like one of our viewers sent this in, Autism Society. Yeah, they are doing the 2017 Walk for Hope and Family Fun Day. This happened on April 8th, 2017, and it's a walk for people with autism. So
to raise money.
Yeah, this is awesome. Totally support this. I have a family member who works with kids with autism, so she's always looking for ways to support them, and I think that's really cool. So thank you for sending that in, and totally support what you guys are doing there.
Woohoo!
Yay!
With that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Shannon Morse.
And we will see you next week on TekThing. What's the longest walk you've ever taken on this hike?
Thank you, everybody. I think Well, near Muir Woods, actually.
Really?
There's, yeah, if there's a trail that leaves directly out of the parking lot that's right next to the entrance, and you can take it for about 7 or 8 miles, and it goes up onto this, like, the side of the mountain, around the park, and then back into the park. Of course, you should pay at the front gate anyway, even though you're taking the back route, but it's like 7 or 8 miles, so it's a really long walk.
Total, not 7 out and 7 back.
No, it's just like 7 miles total for because it's kind of a circle.
The climb up Mount Tamalpais is impressive.
Yeah, it's like lots and lots of climbing. The other hike I took that was a long time was, I think, about 4 miles, and that, not much, but 4-mile hike up Inari Taisha in Japan.